Hey everyone, it's Rick here from Two Bit Nothing, and I'm making this quick clip because I wanted to make a video about how Elden Ring completely changed my gaming life, and it actually made my life by extension a little bit better. So I really wanted to kind of make a video to tell you and to kind of explain how it came to be that it had that effect. But I'm doing this also because I have difficulty expressing myself and I have a bit of difficulty explaining things. So if anyone out there is of the same sort of mindset as myself, they may understand this video. But for those of you who tried to watch it and couldn't really understand it, I'm really sorry. I'll try and do better if I do any other videos in the future, but I kind of just wanted to just let you know. So thanks for watching, if you do.
Okay, let's start off really dramatically, and let's just say Elden Ring sucks, and by extension, all Souls-like games are just terrible. There's just no reason for a game to be that hard. Where's the enjoyment in a game like that? I mean, what's the point? What do I get out of it? Oh, you've got a bit of a reward, or you've got some XP. Well, I can get that in other games and be far more enjoyable for it. But that's where I was wrong. Okay, so let's just back up a little bit and take a look at that dramatic introduction and exactly where that was coming from. Now, first things first, I apologise if some of my ramblings do sound a little bit off. I'm not really used to doing this, so I'm kind of just going to go off the cuff and kind of really delve into what my thoughts are without, being researched, okay? So in that sense, I mean, as in like this, just like this right now. I'm kind of just speaking and trying to get my thoughts across, so anyone who finds it a little bit unusual or doesn't make much sense, I'm really sorry. And if you've listened this far, then I'm really grateful that you've already listened that far. So anyway, let's take a look at this. First off, I am an old school gamer. I remember growing up with the Nintendo and the SNES, the Mega Drive, the Master System, so I'm no stranger to them, including even the Commodore 64, where I think the most difficult part of that was actually just trying to get the games to run. So what I'm trying to say is that I am no stranger to difficult games, and yes, we're all aware of those memes that popped up where it was like, oh, if your kid wants something, all you've got to do is ask them to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Nintendo, and if they can beat that game, then you'll buy them whatever, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, whatever they want, whatever their heart desires as far as I'm concerned, if they can beat that game. I have only ever beaten that game once, and yes, I do feel like I accomplished something. But at the same time, once you turn that console off, it's gone. So you have to live with just the memory of it. So what I'm saying is that I'm no stranger to difficult games. With that, difficult games have always been part of growing up. However, I feel that I missed the whole lure of Dark Souls when people started telling me that it was like the hardest game ever, but it was so rewarding and that the difficulty was the enjoyment of it. I didn't really understand that. Now, whenever I play a computer game from anyone, the first difficulty I'll always choose, regardless, is always normal, because in my head, normal was what the developers wanted. So they're basically saying, hey, this is the game that we've made, and this is the standard difficulty for you to enjoy the story. So for example, when you're playing a game like Doom, you put the difficulty up and it increases the monster count. If you play it on, say, Hurt Me Plenty, which was the normal difficulty, okay, Mr. Bubs, I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is that the difficulty level does affect sometimes the impact that the game will have. For example, in Doom, I keep saying the word for example, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find different words. Anyway, in Doom 2, the first time you would encounter the pinky would be in level 3, the gauntlet. But if you increase the difficulty past Hurt Me Plenty, then you would encounter it in the second level, which would be the underhalls. So it brings kind of a different vibe to it. I suppose you could say that if you started off playing at a higher difficulty, then you were always going to discover that creature, the demon, in the Underhalls to begin with. But when you're playing it on Hurt Me Plenty, it does mean that the creature was always intended, in my opinion, to appear on the 3rd level. So that's kind of like where my brain was operating. It was saying, look, I know I can get this harder creature on this earlier level, but in my head, I'm not supposed to discover it until the 3rd level. So it's extremely minor, but that was how the brain was basically operating when it came to difficulty levels. Now, the reason I'm talking about difficulty levels like this is because over time I've gotten so used to playing games on the normal difficulty setting. But what I didn't realise was what I was doing to myself, which was that by playing normal difficulty setting, I was getting so used to it that it wasn't becoming so much of a challenge anymore. In my head, I felt like I was playing a challenge, but it wasn't becoming the challenge that games in the past have always been to myself. I wasn't dying until like very late into the game. I was managing to get past the levels that people have said were really hard. And I think that was just simply because you kind of get used to that sphere of difficulty where it's like, oh, you can take multiple hits this time round, and as long as you run for cover, or you're using a cover-based mechanic, or you've got healing equipment on you, then everything's going to be fine, and you kind of settle into it. Like, let's be perfectly honest, how many of us actually use a tutorial in a game if it's in a setting that we're already familiar with? So, for example, FPS shooters. Who actually uses a tutorial unless it's an in-game forced one? We kind of figure them out. We've already got the gist of it.
I know what I'm about, son.
The only issue with it is that because it doesn't challenge us or make us think outside of the box, we get rewarded for obviously the tasks that we do inside the game, but we're not exactly challenged, but our expectation of the challenge doesn't really come to us anymore, because this is how the game is always supposed to be played. So when a game like Dark Souls or a Souls-like game or anything like that comes along, it completely turns your world upside down, because you start thinking, this is trash. Who is playing this? Like, why is someone going to make a game this difficult? It doesn't make sense unless you try to understand it, and that's what I didn't do. I just refused to understand it.
What's the matter? You got nothing left inside, huh? Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that?
Bum.
A bum!
2023 then comes around, and it's one of the worst gaming years for myself on record. And I think it was like a spot of depression as well. So we all know that gamer's depression, where we open up our gaming libraries, we take a look at all the different games we've got installed or could download, and we decide not to play any one of them after searching like an hour through it. And then we realise that we're not getting any enjoyment out of our games.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I ain't got it no more.
So I'm stuck in a lull. I'm opening up Steam, I'm looking at my library, I'm looking at the installed games I have. I'm even downloading games which are like 80 gigabytes in size, only for me to then delete them as soon as I've downloaded them, because it wasn't really a game I wanted to play. I'm really struggling, and I really want to start to get my gaming spark back. So I log straight into Steam one day, and all of a sudden Elden Ring is on sale. I don't know what possessed me to do it, because I've already made my thoughts clear on these types of games. I then decide, do you know what, let's buy it. I've got 2 hours. If I don't enjoy it, then I can always refund it, I guess. So I purchase the game. I start downloading it. And then what do? I don't play it for 2 weeks, because I'm just full of apprehension. All of a sudden then, it's one Saturday evening, and I decide, do you know what, no one else is online. It's just me. So let's play the game. I fire the game up, and all of a sudden I'm introduced to movie quality music, and it absolutely blows my off. I'm sat there and I'm thinking, this is amazing, but it makes me feel heroic. It makes me feel like I'm about to embark on this incredible adventure. So what do? I load up, I select the Wretch, because I'm not quite sure what the hell any of these other characters are, so I just think, oh well, again, this is normal difficulty if you remember. The Wretch is how I'm supposed to play the game. So I play that character. I go through the tutorial, I master all the bits and bobs that it's giving me, such as like dodging, how to lock onto enemy targets, and generally how to block and, you know, perform the basic tasks of the game. Again, remember, this is a tutorial. I'm completely new to this because it's something that's completely outside of my familiarity zone, if that even is a word or a sentence. And so I progressed through the tutorial level, or at least I thought it was a tutorial level. I get to some multi-armed horror, which then proceeds to absolutely destroy me. And it's at that point when I'm thinking, you know, it's... this is what I was talking about. This is what I was afraid of. This game's just going to do... Oh, okay, hold on a second. It's now bringing me back and saying, oh, you know, that was kind of meant to happen. You know, this is the kind of enemies we're going to fight. And, you know, you're going to learn how to beat them. You know, little did I know later on in the game I was going to absolutely trash one of those things. In fact, I was going to beat 2 of them at once, which is amazing. So I begin the game and I walk straight out into the open world. Bearing in mind I've already seen a secret passageway to some unknown dungeon, and I can hear the sound of like grinding in the distance. I don't know what it is, but I can't see it, but it sounds dangerous and exciting, if that's, you know, what it was meant to invoke. There's a gargoyle statue. I'm supposed to get keys for it. I make a mental note and I think, right, okay, I'll come back to this at some point. I go outside and meet a rather unusual character who's sort of, you know, giving me a very strange voice and all this kind of gibberish. I'm not really kind of paying too much of attention at this point, because I'm more interested by the fact that there's a giant knight on a horse that I just know is going to completely smash me. So what do? I run up to it and it kills me like 1 hit. So anyway, I decide, well, at least I'm kind of not pigeonholed by following the path of that knight. I can kind of go around it because it's an open world. Now, hold on a second. There's a beach with a giant octopus on it, and there's rat creatures, and while I'm trying to avoid certain characters, I'm hiding, I'm sneaking up on things, I'm stabbing things in the back. Oh, there's some knights. Okay, I'll fight those. They're a lot easier to fight. Okay, wait a second. I found a statue, and it's indicating a secret light, or I'm supposed to follow that light. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. Okay, so I follow it, and I end up in some catacombs. Am I supposed to even be in the catacombs? It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Who cares? Let's fight it. I actually beat the catacombs, and the feeling that I had of that was just indescribable. And I thought, oh my god, this was a difficult game, but it's making me go back for more. And the weirdest part of it is that I don't feel like the game was unfair at any point. All the deaths I had was because I didn't roll this way, or I didn't block that, or I stepped on the wrong piece of flooring and a knife or some fireball or anything like that kind of attacked me and killed me. But that was my fault, so I was thinking, damn, I must watch out for that next time. That is how this game made me feel. It made me feel that when I won, it was because I was the skilled one. And when I died, it was because I messed up, not the game. So I went exploring to the south. I saw a giant dragon. I tried to avoid that. There was crabs that were killing me. There was a zombie that turned into a giant bear that killed me. There was so many things that killed me, but it just made me more wary and more considerate about how I approach every situation, which actually then crossed over into other games. So fast forward it. The game is absolutely beautiful. It's incredible atmospherically. And the combat actually was very, very rewarding. Anytime I won, I felt like it wasn't because I was cheating, which, yeah, I suppose you can't, but I didn't feel like the game cheated me out of anything, or that I cheated the game out of anything. I felt that I chose the right thing for the right time. For example, I'm fighting against a wizard. What do I do? Well, he keeps dodging away, or this happens. Well, maybe I just need to wear this different type of armor and use this different type of weapon. And oh wow, he's the easiest character in the game to defeat now, even though he's killed me 40 times previously. And I guess that was the enjoyment of it. I remember going into work and one of the guys in work saying, "Oh, I've been playing Sekiro. That's Shadows Die Twice. It's from Software." And I said, "Oh, I've started playing Elden Ring." And he said, "Oh, are you enjoying it? There's so much in it to find out, and it doesn't hold your hand." And I thought, yeah, it doesn't. And we really bonded over that aspect of it. And he kept saying, "Oh, did you manage to beat this enemy?" And I thought, no, I didn't go back and do that. He said, "Go back and fight that character when you've got this kind of weapon. Oh, it's the easiest character, ever once you've got it." And he wasn't wrong. It was ridiculously easy once I did that. The only thing I hate in this game, though, I've got to be perfectly honest, is the dogs.
Out of my way!
The hounds. Such a basic enemy, but yet so damn frustrating. If you can beat them, no problem. Then you should be playing games on the hard difficulty as standard. Now, I tried to just go off the bat and talk, thinking I would be able to drag out the real feelings, but this part I kind of had to write down as I had difficulty in expressing myself in an understandable manner. So, here goes. Let's get to the crux of the tangent I'm on. Elden Ring transformed my gaming experience forever going forward. Apart from being an incredible experience, it gave me a fresh outlook on other games and unlocked a craving and desire to try games that I had initially written off because of the association with a Soulslike game tag. A game I was really interested in but apprehensive about was Blasphemous, so I played Blasphemous, and I found that to be an excellent game. The difficulty of it was now welcoming, and I looked forward to the challenge, and to be perfectly honest, the world was incredible as well, and it kind of did have a similar sort of vibe to Elden Ring. Another one as well was GTFO, which I had downloaded, but basically stopped on the first mission because of the extreme difficulty, and that I basically wrote it off because of my feeling that it was only difficult to extend the life of the game. Well, now I'm actually looking for players to enjoy the game with. So, if you know anyone, hit me up and let's see what we can do. But yeah, that's another game that I initially had written off, but now I'm excited to actually play. I always wanted to play Zero Dawn, and now I am, but with the difficulty up to very hard, and it's an absolute blast, and the difficulty is actually making me a better player. But one of my big ones was Darksiders 3. Darksiders, I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. I thought the second one was even better than the first one, if it was a little bit sort of, all over the shop. But Darksiders 3 I was so excited for. But then when I tried that game, I quickly dropped it because of its change in gameplay, and basically that it had latched itself onto a Souls-like trend. But now I'm going back to it, and once again Elden Ring is responsible for change in approach regarding it. So damn you, Elden Ring, thank you. This is so good. I also want to point out that the greatest gift Elden Ring gave me was a sense of excitement for games again, a sense of accomplishment in embracing the challenge that came with it. Elden Ring is single-handedly responsible for dragging me out of a depressing game slump. It brought back enjoyment to something that I'm passionate about. It's given me also a sense of courage to actually try and do something with my passion, to start making videos. I'm hoping as time goes on I'll actually improve in my skills of expressing my thoughts and in making videos that are much better than this one, for example. This video was made by me for me, however, as a way of me to explain how Elden Ring made me feel. I felt so strongly that I had to put my thoughts into an incoherent video, and if you're at this point, then I truly want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to me. It feels like I'm in a pub trying to talk someone's ear off about how good this damn game is. Anyway, I think it's best for me to end it here, but I just want to say thank you so much to, and any thoughts or ideas on how I can improve my videos in the future, please just comment. I'm kind of fired up now, and I think I'm ready to go over my lifetime love for games, so watch out. I just wish I started so much sooner, to be honest. But I just want to say love to you all, especially to From Software. You changed my gaming life, and I was wrong about Elden Ring.